Welcome to week 45 of 2025. This week, our picks of the week are going to be the Euro USD, Amazon stock, and the Swiss yen. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these technicals. Let's start with the Euro USD. Now, the Euro USD really has been in a downtrend going back to probably the 7th of October. You've seen a nice pullback here, a little bit of strength from the USD, but this pair has just been bullish the entire year. So right here, we've got our 920 EMA crossover. You'll see right back here, this was sort of a signal maybe to look at a short position potentially. We saw the cross under, the 9 crossed under the 20, and then that pretty much was the pretty good indication that we needed to go short there. Well, the last 4 sessions have been definitely negative, and right now the big question is there any downside support in play for the Euro USD? This has sort of been one of those pairs that's been bullish all year, probably playing a pullback. Isn't necessarily a bad way to do this to the bull. So we're going to have to go ahead and dial back our time frame. So right there's a daily. Let's go back to a weekly. You'll notice we've got natural resistance up here at 120. We've sort of got long-term bullish trend going. But right now, we've got sort of a situation developing on the weekly chart. We may be in a situation where that 9 EMA crosses under the 20, and we have a potentially maybe a longer-term short developing. Still, though, I'm interested in looking for potentially a bullish entry. So for me, relatively straightforward. It's just going to be a nice monthly chart. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of our drawings here. And the trend is pretty easy to spot for 2025. Nice spike low down here. Let's just run our Fibonacci's right from that low to that top. And you can see right around 112.57-ish, somewhere in that zone. Probably 112.57 all the way up to maybe 112.75. Could be pretty good downside support. We're still a little ways off of that, but that's a trade definitely to watch as we dive deeper into November and the new trading month. All right, Amazon. Everybody's talking about Amazon. We had just a massive earnings beat last week. We saw earnings per share come in hot, total revenue come in hot. That's called a top line and a bottom line beat. So we beat expectations here with Amazon stock. But the big announcement was from Monday's session, a $38 billion deal with OpenAI has sort of made these two tech giants partners for the foreseeable future. It's a multi-year deal. And right now we're wondering really where is the top side for this Amazon stock. We've got a key level outlined up at 300. I think that's potentially may come into play by the end of the year. But this gap area right here is interesting. You can see this gap hasn't been traded since the beginning of this year, back in January of 2025. So this zone here, be surprising if we don't get a pullback down into that area, that 240 area, maybe 250. Potentially a bidding opportunity there. But right now the bulls are definitely in control of Amazon. A lot of top side targets, a lot of talk about 300 to the top side. But this gap area, don't be surprised if you do see price pull back and maybe give an opportunity to grab a secondary buy if you're not already long in this market, and it seems like most of the tech world is. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last one of our picks of the week. It's going to be the Swiss yen. Now, we've got a lot of these charts with key levels up here. Typically, you have those when you're trending. So this has been a real nice breakout trend for the Swiss yen this year. You go right back there to March of 2025, really the beginning of this bullish break. Sort of broke above that upper Bollinger Band right there on the monthly chart in June. And since then, it's been just incredibly bullish. You sort of had like a bullish pennant right there, and then a big-time 3% gain for October. So right now, the game really is relatively simple. You want to join the uptrend if at all possible. And for me, it's relatively simple. You just take your Fibonacci retracements and you go ahead and just draw your sequence. Pullback zone somewhere down around 180, 250-ish. Quite a ways down the queue. Interested in the 200 level, though, as potentially short-term resistance and as a topside target. I think there's a lot of folks that believe the 200 may come into play sooner rather than later. So a big bullish year for the Swiss yen. You probably want to try to get long at some point, but once again, if you're holding shorts, it's not a bad thing. Just be aware that you really are trending here. The bulls are in complete control. Key level, I'm looking for some compression up there right around 200. Probably a lot of traders have that as a topside target potentially. I think you could definitely get some two-way action there. And if you wanted to be more aggressive and potentially join this market, in sort of short order, or at least in a more quicker fashion than our monthly retracement, you could probably just go down to a weekly retracement. And you can see right there, you've got a nice zone, 189, 189.50-ish, somewhere down in that zone. Probably going to act as significant downside support. One area that I wouldn't overlook, though, this right here, 62% on this weekly retracement. It also coincides with our 13-week EMA down there at about 187.50-ish, 187.44 to 41. So a lot going on right here in the Swiss yen. Probably want to make our mistakes to the top side. Like to join that bullish trend if at all possible. But if you are going to trade this in a counter trend fashion, be sure to watch your risk. Don't lose all of your money trying to fight strong trends. It really is sort of a lower percentage trade. So Euro USD, we're sort of waiting for that big, deeper pullback. Amazon looks like it's going to be a rocket ship to 300, especially with the OpenAI deal that was announced Monday. And the Swiss yen right here, we're probably looking at a test of 200. Whether that develops this year or potentially maybe in Q1 next year, that remains to be seen. All right, that's week 45, 2025. Trade the action well. We'll see you on our next live stream and also on Thursday's live trading webinar. We're going to cover the 5813. All right, trade well. We'll see you soon.